Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week, for the week of June 5th to the 11th, though. And obviously, what we should have had E3 this year, but it looks like it won't be happening. Unfortunately, it's not happening this year, although they're claiming it may happen next year, though. In the meantime, we have a lot of these companies that are showing off some of their events, though. I've yet to watch Devolver Digital. I should probably get into watching that one as well. But I mean, we had Summer Game Fest, which basically had sort of a mixed response, though. And obviously, we're building up to this Sunday when Microsoft hosts their Bethesda and Microsoft showcase, though. It's going to be very interesting to see how that one plays out, especially considering the fact that Starfield and Redfall got delayed into next year. So we'll see what Microsoft does this Sunday, though. But in the meantime, we got 4 stories to cover, including Microsoft announcing some updates for their Xbox brand, including the more push towards like some of the streaming side of things, though. Nintendo is looking into possibly doing more in movies and maybe TV shows to a certain degree. Limited Run had their showcase to show off what games that they're going to be basically putting out there in terms of physical forms. And Apple has announced something that looks like they're taking gaming a little bit more serious than they had in the past, though. If you're interested in where I got the source of a lot of these informations, though, links will be in the description of this video down below, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cents. Stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details. The first one is that apparently there is a demo out for Fire Emblem Three Hopes, which is certainly nice that the demo is currently out, though. And supposedly any progress you make on the game and on the demo, you could bring over to the main game if you decide to go ahead and buy it. So definitely a nice thing. I like when they did that with Valkyrie Chronicles 4, so I'm very happy to see them do it with Fire Emblem Three Hopes, though. We've also learned that basically Hideki Kamiya basically would like you to play Bayonetta 1 and 2 first before you decide to play Bayonetta 3, though. Having played the first and second one, I still enjoy those games, to be exact, and I'm looking forward to when Bayonetta 3 comes out later this year, assuming everything holds and all. We also learned that supposedly Toys for Bots, and this is supposedly is a rumor, that Activision might be doing another Crash Bandicoot game. This one might be in a style similar to maybe Smash Brothers to a certain degree. Again, nothing official at this time, but we'll have to wait and see if this turns out to be true or not. Though, and of course, we know that they're still going through Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. Supposedly, that acquisition should end either sometime in July or by next year, to be exact. And of course, Microsoft saying that they still want to, put those games as multi-platforms, but time will tell on that one, though. We also learned about supposedly a sequel to 1-2 Switch was in development at Nintendo, but supposedly they're running into issues considering that they did a focus group and not everyone was pretty happy with it, and they still don't know how to do the sequel or anything like that. I'm not sure if you could do a sequel, how they would do a sequel to 1-2 Switch. That might have been a great idea at the time when it came out, for when the Switch was just new to the market, but as its own game, I think that might be a hard sell to a certain degree, but time will tell if that happens or not. We also learned that Hideki Kojima, if I'm saying his name correctly, supposedly is working on a brand new game, and this one will be sort of more on the horror side to them. It's being dubbed as sort of like, in a way, his take on Silent Hill. It's for those who may not remember. He did work on Silent Hill at one point before that game got canceled. There was a demo out. It was called the PT demo and all that. So we'll see if this rumor turns out to be true, though. We also learned that supposedly the Public Investment Fund from Saudi Arabia has acquired $1 billion stake or in Embracer Group, though. Basically, they're owning some of the stock, not the whole company or anything like that. Again, this response is kind of mixed to the way it was when we heard that Saudi Arabia acquired some stock in Nintendo, though. I mean, yes, they are a publicly owned company, and yes, you can buy stock if you have the money, though, but The issue is basically the fact that this firm is run by the Saudi Arabian government, which is known for its human rights abuse. So it brings up a whole lot of issues on that, though. We also learned that EA will basically have some surprises this year that they expect people don't want to miss, though. I mean, yeah, that could be great, but then this is EA we're talking about, so I would keep expectations in check, whatever EA is supposedly announcing, though. We also learned that supposedly last week's preview of the Sonic build, they're claiming that Sega's claiming it's from an early build, so it's possible the game could be further along than people had expected, though. But still, early impressions were very, very mixed, though, when those footage came out. Although supposedly IGN did a preview, and the person who did the preview supposedly was very pleased with what they saw, but still not a great impression for Sonic Frontier. So we'll have to see if they could change impressions by the time the game eventually comes out, which supposedly is this year. We also learned that basically co-op flight for the Halo Infinite campaign is going to begin this July, though. It's surprised it took them this long to do it, though, but I mean, better late than never. I'm mostly into the single-player experience, so I'm not losing sleep with the co-op flight, but obviously there are Halo fans who say otherwise and probably would been waiting for this feature to be put in, at least on the campaign side of things. We also learned that Microsoft will also have an extended showcase featuring 90 minutes of interviews with developers about these upcoming games. It won't be part of the Microsoft Bethesda one. It will happen after that event happening, to be exact, though. It might dig deep dive into some stuff, so it'll be sort of interesting to see, though. We also learned that supposedly Bethesda is putting down the final touches from Starfield. This comes from a comment made by Todd Howard, though. It's possible one of the reasons for the delay is to sort of tune up some areas and make sure the game is presentable, though. I do want that game to succeed, though. The idea of Skyrim in space definitely sounds promising, but we saw how Fallout 76 was handled, and a little bit concerned, though. Hopefully, and while I understand why not everyone is happy about this delay, I do hope that the delay is worth it, and hope it gives the developers enough time to iron out some stuff, and I do hope this does not turn into another Cyberpunk 2077 situation. We also learned that supposedly Fable and Perfect Dark will not be at the upcoming Xbox game showcase, though, which is, while unfortunate, though, if they don't really have anything to show at this time, though, then it probably is best not to have anything to show at all, though. I'm hopeful as development goes along that they'll finally show some actual footage of those games, because I am curious to see how those games are going to look, though. We also learned in the movie side or TV side thing that Top Gun Maverick has so far hit the global box office of $600 million, which is certainly nice, though, considering this is a sequel from a movie back in the 80s, though. But obviously it's doing well at box office, which is certainly nice, though. Despite the whole lawsuit situation in terms of regarding the sequel or the rights or anything like that, that seemed to have not stopped the film from being a success at the box office. And last but not least, though, we had two trailers, I believe, that was shown off this week. The first one was the Black Adam official trailer starring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, though. I mean, that one might be good, though. We'll have to see how that one plays out. Though, I mean, I thought Matt Reeves' The Batman was really good, so maybe this one might be good or not. And last but not least, we had Netflix show their live-action Resident Evil trailer, and let's just say from the like and dislike ratio, it's not getting the best response, though. I'll give Netflix the benefit of the doubt for the time being, but right now, based on what they showed on the trailer, I'm not 100% convinced, let's just say. Okay, with the quick My 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with Apple computers or Apple itself and gaming as well. Now, when people think of, maybe like the Apple computers or the iMacs or anything like that, most people use it for basically doing like stuff on their stuff, doing work or stuff like that. I have an iMac as well. I use this to record, when I'm doing my videos, though, to even when I'm editing some of my videos with iMovies and all that stuff. No, hardly I can think of anybody that uses the iMac or anything for gaming or anything like that. I mean, yes, you have, the Apple Arcade or anything like that, but not on the level of gaming like, say, like some of the hardcore games like Resident Evil Village or other games out there, though. Well, apparently, during basically one of Apple's presentation, though, it seems as though that Apple is looking to basically get maybe a bit more into gaming than I think they were in the past, to be exact. Most likely by offering a development tool to allow developers to bring their games over to basically the iMac or the Apple system, though, as part of what they call a Metal 3, which is going to be part of their new Mac OS, I think called Ventura or Vendetta. I apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly, though. And apparently during the presentation, they also showed off one of the directors or folks who worked on Resident Evil Village, showing that one running on the iMac or the Apple, Metal 3 and all. In an article posted by let me see if I can, by CNET, though, it reads, quote, it says new Apple Silicon Macs will handle Resident Evil Village with ease. The new Macs with Apple Silicon should handle bigger games without breaking a sweat. According to basically the article, it reads that, quote, Apple on Monday announced Mac OS Ventura, Ventura, as well as new second-gen Apple Silicon chips called the M2 at its Worldwide Development Conference. The new version of the operating system in connection with the M2 aims to boost user productivity and creativity, but gamers will also notice some big changes. Apple plans to upgrade its Metal software, which helps power games. Metal 3 will support Metal FX upscaling, which means developers can render rich, realistic graphics faster. Metal FX renders smaller, less compute intensive frames that could be upscaled. In addition, Metal 3 fast resources loaded API minimize wait time when playing games. In other words, the best way to sum it up is that it's kind of like, I think, Apple's take on what NVIDIA is doing with DLSS in a way. Anyway, during WWDC, Apple showed off a new Mac running Resident Evil Village and No Man's Skies. Both games will be coming to Mac using the Apple Silicon later this year. A MacBook Air will run Resident Evil Village 1080p, well as a Mac Studio can play a 4K, according to one of the Capcom's advanced technical research division manager. Apple's Metal update and new Metal 2 chip should give new Mac gaming power, faster loading times, and fluid gameplay that was once only available on high-performance console and gaming PC. At least according to what Apple's saying about the Mac OS Ventura in terms of the gaming side of it, it reads, quote, the power of Apple Silicon enables every new Mac to run AA games with ease, including upcoming titles such as EA's Grid Legends and Capcom's Resident Evil Village. And since Apple Silicon is also powered iPad, game developers can bring their AAA games to even more users, like No Man's Sky from Hello Games, which is coming to both Mac and iPad later this year. Metal 3, the latest version of the software that powers the gaming experience across Apple platform, introduced new features that take the gaming experience on Macs to a new height and unleashes the full potential of Apple Silicon for years to come. Metal FX upscaling enables developers to quickly render complex scenes by using less compute initiative frames and then apply resolution scaling and temporarily anti-aliasing. The result is an accelerating performance that provides gamers with more response, feel, and graphics that look stunning. Game developers also benefit from a new faster resolution loading API that minimizes wait time by providing a more direct path from the storage to the GPU, so games can easily access high-quality texture and geometry needed to create expensive worlds for realistic and immersive gameplay. Now, I will say this all sounds very impressive and everything like that, and it is kind of surprising to see something like Resident Evil Village coming to like sort of the iMac and sort of the the PowerBooks or the whatever they're called to be exact though. But I do wonder if this is really going to convince people to use their Mac for gaming or anything like that, though. I mean, in the past, gaming on Macs have been sort of at a minimum. You might see some games here and there, but for the most part, a lot of it has been heavily on to like the PC side of things, though. So I'm not sure if this suddenly means we're going to see games that are on PC are suddenly going to make their appearance on a Mac or an iMac, to be exact, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, the technology is impressive, and it could convince some developers to consider bringing some of their games over to, the iMac or the Apple environment, though, courtesy of this Metal 3, though. But I'm not sure I view it as like this is a complete threat to PC gaming or anything like that. I really don't, but time will ultimately tell. We'll see how far this goes. So overall, very impressive what Apple showed, though. It's very interesting to see a game like Resident Evil Village run on the, on an iMac or anything like that. Whether or not that's going to convince people to consider gaming more on their iMac or consider iMac as one of their major gaming platforms or not, that remains to be seen at this time. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one has to do with what Limited Run Games showed off during their showcase. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video for this week, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at limited run games. Now, for those who are not familiar with them, limited run games are known for basically publishing physical copies of games that would normally be available digital only, though. We've seen this before for those who own a Nintendo Switch. They have produced several different games in the physical version, such as, for example, when Blood Rain 1 and 2 and the Blood Rain game from Way Forward was announced, they were only available through the Nintendo eShop, but Limited Run also had a physical version. But as their name implies, there is a limited amount of copies that they have. There are some who are okay with this, and there are some who really aren't a fan of this approach, to be exact. But in either case, though, Limited Run Games recently had their showcase, which was shot in what would essentially be the early days of full motion videos, when they weren't exactly as clear as they would be today, though. And they announced pretty much a whopping 30 games, though, some of them coming to the Switch, some of them coming to multiple systems, even some coming to like the N64, which never thought that they would continue with that, though. Anyway, according to what Limited Run Game is saying during their presentation, or at least according to their website, though, they're saying, quote, Limited Run Games believes your favorite game should be available in physical form in a place of prominence where you most cherish collected items. Today, Limited Run Games revealed 33 new titles from over 8 different platforms during its annual LRG3 Summer Showcase, which aired on Twitch TV. The digital event was co-hosted by the co-founder Josh Fairhurst and Douglas Bogarts, if I'm saying the name correctly, and produced in partnership with Mega 64. Highlights included Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Konami's Arcade Classic Anniversary Collection, a Shantae Statue Revive, Doom Eternal, and the tease of a highly anticipated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder Revenge Collector's Edition, which from what I understand, there is a coupon to get a free pizza out of it. I think it might be from Pizza Hut, I'm not sure. This is sort of a playback to when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, was released back on the NES, and that had a coupon for Pizza Hut, though. Then again, you saw Pizza Hut kind of in some of the levels, which makes you kind of wonder how much did Pizza Hut pay Konami to put their advertisement in there. Anyway, in addition, 4 new titles developed with Limited Run Games' Carbon Engine emulator tool were also spotlighted. Titles include Bill and Ted's Excellent Retro Collection, Render Rangers R2, A Boy and His Blob Retro Collection, and Shantae for PS4 and PS5. These games join River City Girl Zero and the original Shantae in the highly coveted and growing catalog of revived retro classics now available on modern platforms from Limited Run Games. They also announced key partnerships with Konami, WayForward, Lucasfilm Games, and others with a host of beloved, new, and ongoing game companies, though. So, according to their list, they pointed out, like games like A Boy and His Blob Retro Collection, Bill and Ted's Excellent Retro Collection. I'm kind of surprised about that one, considering I've seen a video from the Angry Video Game Nerd and just how bad that game is. So I don't know if they changed anything like that or not, so we'll have to see. Blossom Tale 2, that certainly looks nice. Doom 64, a physical version, that certainly is not bad, although if you're a digital person, I'm sure you could pick that up through Game Pass. Doom Eternal, a physical version on Switch, that's good. I would glad that they finally brought that over, though. Glover for the Nintendo 64. I'm surprised they're going to do that game in case you missed out on that one during the N64 days. Plumbers Don't Wear Tie Definitive Edition. That was I remember seeing that on the Angry Video Game Nerd as well. That is like a 3DO early full motion video. I mean, it was something. Then again, it was during the 90s and all that stuff. I mean, I remember Limited Run Games ran Night Trap, for crying out loud. So, I mean, that's sort of really odd to be exact. But they also have games like Shadowrun Trilogy, though, Blade Runner Enhanced Edition, River City Girls 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Tetris Effect Connect, physical versions for Switch, PS4, and Xbox, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge for PS4, Switch, and Xbox, though. I would say for me, I'm looking at titles like maybe Blade Runner Enhanced Edition, Blossom Tales 2, Doom Eternal, basically River City Girls 2, Shadowrun Trilogy, Spider-Osis, I might keep an eye on that one, Star Wars The Knights of the Old Republic 2, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder Revenge, though. I'll give credit to Limited Run Games that wants to bring some of these games over for developers who don't want to bring it over, to be exact. But the way they handle it, though, sometimes, again, not everyone's happy with some of their approach, including, having a limited run on it, though. Although I have seen some of their games pop up at my local Best Buy and everything like that. And some games like Plumbers Don't Wear Tie, I'm like, really? Really, limited run? You want to have that one available? But hey, there's probably an audience out there for it, as weird as that title may be. I mean, hell, I'm surprised they haven't done something like, say, some of the old Evil Dead games and put them up available for people to buy, though. There was one I remember playing that I liked, though. But either way, though, I will say my overall takeaway from this is that I'll give Limited Run credits, though. Some of these games I'm definitely looking forward to picking up, especially for the Nintendo Switch, since physical copies or physical versions of certain games are very hard to come by, and I got to give credit to Limited Run Games for bringing some of these games to the Nintendo Switch. But at the same time, though, it's some of their decisions, such you may have to wait a year for the game, for them to meet the cartridge to be made to put it into the game, to having limited run on it, though, no pun intended. Not everybody is happy about it, but given the announcements that they made during their showcase, I'm sure there's an audience for some of those games, whether even if it's a game like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or Plumbers Don't Wear Tie. I'm sure there is someone out there that wants a physical version of those games, just even as regards of how bad it really is, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with basically Nintendo may be doing a bit more when it comes to movies and TV shows, though. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our third part of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Nintendo, specifically on the side of movies and games, movies and possibly TV shows and all. Now, when it comes to that kind of form, though, Nintendo, has been known to be very sort of protective or picky about that kind of stuff, though. While we have seen shows like Mario and Zelda get their own cartoon, though, sometimes once part of the Super Mario Super Show back in the 80s and all that stuff, they're often remembered as being one of those, it's so bad it's good type of a way, though. Same with the Legend of Zelda one, which I will admit, kind of hasn't aged well, though. I could say the same thing about Captain N and the Game Master and all. But we've also had, stuff like the Super Mario Brothers movie with, John Leguizamo, which also has earned the reputation of being it's so bad it's good, and kind of is what turned Nintendo off back then of doing, licensing their IPs out to other studios and all that stuff. But in the early 2000s, we've seen also attempts with, stuff like, Kirby Right Back at Ya, to even F-Zero getting a short-lived, cartoon series, to be exact, though. Well, recently we've also been seeing Nintendo kind of expand maybe a little bit more with that kind of stuff. Originally, the Super Mario Brothers movie was supposed to come out this year, but they have pushed it into next year, to be exact, though. No reason given, though I wouldn't be surprised if the success of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at this year at the box office may have kind of put some pressure on them. I can't say that's for certain, but I wouldn't be surprised by that. Well, recently, it seems as though there have been some trademarks that have been filed lately, though, that seems to indicate that Nintendo might be at least doing more in terms of movies and TV shows, to be exact, though. In an article from Video Game Chronicles, it reads that, quote, "A new company named Nintendo Studios has been spotted in copyright listings for the upcoming Super Mario animated movie. Although the listing appears to have been preset on the United States Copyright Office website for some time, they were only recently spotted by Twitter user Michael02K. The listing shows copyright records from the upcoming Mario movie and indicate that the film copyrights are registered to Nintendo of America, Nintendo Company Ltd, Illumination Entertainment, and Universal Pictures. However, it also listed two other companies, Nintendo Studio LLC and M Brothers Production LLC. I assume that's another name for Mario Brothers Production, though. Although the listing doesn't give any further information on these companies, it appears that Nintendo Studios may be a new subsidy, if I'm saying the name correctly, set up by Nintendo to handle future visual entertainment such as movies or TV shows. Similar subsidies included Marvel Studios LLC and PlayStation Studios LLC, which are subsidies of Walt Disney Studios and Sony Interactive Entertainment, respectively. M Brothers Production, meanwhile, is likely a limited-time company set up purely for the purpose of making Super Mario Bros. Movie, a practice which is common in filmmaking. For example, Marvel Studios' early works also had single-film companies set up, Ironworks Production LLC for Iron Man, and Incredible Productions for The Incredible Hulk. The fact that a company called Nintendo Studios exists, however, gives further weight that Nintendo claims that it plans to make more movies and or TV shows starring its characters in the future, though. So it does seem, though, if assuming these reports are true, that they are looking further and further to expanding beyond video games and putting their characters, in movies and TV shows, which does sound very interesting. And I'm very curious to see how the upcoming Super Mario movie is going to play out, although I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea of Chris Pratt, the Star-Lord himself from the Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel movies, and in the Jurassic World films, though, basically voicing Mario. But we'll have to wait and see until that one comes out, though. But I do wonder if some of this stuff is all riding on the success of the Super Mario movie, because we've seen companies that have done this before and not always turned out to be very well. I mean, in the early 2000s, Square Enix had Square Pictures, and they launched their first movie, Final Fantasy: The Spirit Within, and that one didn't exactly do great at the box office, to the point that they shut that studio down, to be exact. So I do wonder if a lot of it is riding on this Super Mario movie in general. On the other hand, though, despite Ratchet and Clank, the movie, which I believe came out in 2016, despite that one not doing well at the box office, which he advertised it as play the game based off the movie, based off the game, which I think that made that a little bit confusing, though. We are seeing them push further with push right now with, The Last of Us going into HBO Max. There's reports about Twisted Metal going to Netflix, though. There's also reports about the possibility of a movie based off Ghost of Tsushima, to the Horizon series, to even the God of War series, to be exact. So despite basically Ratchet and Clank not doing well, that hasn't stopped Sony from trying to do other things as well. So, I mean, on one hand, it's possible if Mario Brothers movie flops, this may shut down any attempt for them to do future movies or anything or TV shows, to be exact. But on the other hand, it may not have any impact at all. But either way, I do think a lot of it will depend on how well the Super Mario Brothers movie does when that movie comes out next year. So overall, though, very interesting on these trademarks or copyright things, though. It'll be interesting to hear when Nintendo makes the official announcement, though. And like I said, I feel like some of this is all riding on how well and how the people respond to the Super Mario Brothers movie when that comes out next year, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And this one has to do with Microsoft announcing a couple of things in regards of the Xbox brand. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Xbox, particularly some of the new directions that Microsoft might be going with, at least with the Xbox brand and all. Now, as we all know, though, this Sunday, so this video will probably go up on Saturday, though, will be Microsoft's, and Bethesda's showcase, though, and we're going to be waiting to see what exactly they're going to be showing off during their showcase, what games are going to be coming and all that stuff, though. Last year's one was sort of neat, though, as we got to look at titles like, ranging from Stalker 2 to, Halo Infinite and so forth. So it'll be kind of interesting to see, especially if, say, they actually show off gameplay of Starfield, though, even though that one will be pushed back until next year, though. But during Thursday, though, Microsoft showed up, made some announcements about some stuff that, may not be in terms of game announcement or brand new games or anything like that, are certain features in terms of with the Xbox brand and what they might be doing, ranging from Xbox on Samsung TVs to non-Game Pass titles being played through Game Pass and all. In an article pushed on Push Square, they sort of did a roundup of all of the stuff that was announced there, and some of them were basically revealing Project Moorcroft, which according to them is a new game demo service that will be coming to Xbox Game Pass members within the next year. This intent is to allow Game Pass subscribers to try upcoming games, starting out with the focus on indie titles, which isn't bad, though, although hopefully over time we'll see, I would like to see AAA titles sort of make their way to it, though. They did talk about that it's been confirmed that Xbox Cloud Gaming will be integrated into smart TVs, and it will be starting with Samsung TVs later this month on June 30th. All you need is a Game Pass Ultimate subscription and a Bluetooth controller. Again, this certainly isn't a bad thing in any way. I mean, the idea of being able to not have a console to play your games and all isn't necessarily bad, though, although we saw that with Stadia and that didn't exactly work out as well or anything like that. I will say one of the big hurdles to this, though, to some degree, is that since it's going to be cloud gaming, though, it's going to depend on how solid your internet connection is. And if it's not great, that might be an issue to a certain degree. They talked about basically that they are now... Another thing they talked about is their lab, Xbox Design Lab relaunch with new features. It says, quote, Xbox Design Labs had a bit of a break recently, but it's officially relaunched today with some extra features, new colors option, and a brand new Pride design. Plus, it's now available in more countries. Basically, you could design however you want your controller to look like and all that stuff. I mean, I'm happy with the controller I have, but hey, some folks like to deck out their controller, so that certainly is up to them, though. That's up to your choice on all that stuff. We also, the other thing they point out is Xbox Cloud Gaming will add non-Game Pass titles. According to this one, it says, up until now, Xbox Cloud Gaming has been purely focused on Xbox Game Pass titles and Fortnite, but it'll be expanding to non-Game Pass titles at some point later this year, with the catch that you still need to be subscribed and own the game locally in order to play them via cloud. So obviously there is a little bit of a catch, but it is certainly interesting to see non-Game Pass titles sort of make their way. So, I mean, it certainly is neat, though, although I do question what kind of games will be there or not, though. Obviously, that might not be an issue with first-party titles, though. We'll have to see how it is with second and third-party titles. They also announced that basically, PC users will get a new Xbox gaming feature. According to them, they said Microsoft is working to add new gaming features for Windows 11, including optimizations for Windows games and a new HDR compatibility app and a Game Pass widget and a control bar. Plus, Microsoft Edge will be adding new features like built-in clarity boost, a new game menu, and an efficiency mode that will automatically render browsers resource users when PC games is launched. I mean, again, this is more on the PC side of things, though. I guess for those who use Windows 11s or, Game Pass on PC. So for PC users, that may be a good or a bad thing, depending on how you want to look at it, though. And they also announced that they are expanding Xbox Cloud Gaming, and he said it's now available in countries like Argentina and New Zealand. That's great for those who live in Argentina and New Zealand, though. In terms of all this information, though, I would say the ones that kind of stuck out for me the most is the Xbox Cloud Gaming that will add non-Game Pass titles. I think that certainly is nice. I'm glad that they're adding that stuff, though, although it'll be interesting to see what kind of games will be available, whether it's something you have or not. So I'm a little curious about how this is all going to play out. And the ones with the Samsung TV is not a bad thing, but again, a lot of it is going to have to depend on your internet connection and all. So overall, I have to say, that what they announced is certainly not bad, though. I mean, it's not big, giant gaming related, though, but it's certainly features that they're expanding in terms of the Xbox brand itself. And this certainly isn't a bad thing at all. Yes, I think the Samsung TV, while certainly is nice, is going to depend on how solid your internet connection truly is, though. But again, it's sort of interesting to see Microsoft take the Xbox brand into a very interesting approach, though. And so far, that approach seems to be working for them, though. But yes, these are interesting announcements, but obviously we're all waiting for this Sunday for the Xbox and Bethesda show, though. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Apple getting into gaming a little bit more? Do you think this whole Metal 3 thing will be a game changer in any way? Do you think it will bring gamers more into the Apple ecosystem? Or you really don't see this having any impact on gaming on the Apple's ecosystem at all? What are your thoughts about Limited Run's showcase? Were you excited about some of the games they announced, though? Are you looking forward to pre-ordering any of these games? Are you even considering picking up Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures or Plumbers Don't Wear Tie at all? What do you think about this trademark that Nintendo has filed in terms of these movie studios? Do you think this is a sign that basically Nintendo is getting into movies and TV shows maybe a bit more serious than they are in the past? Do you think a lot of this is riding on how well the Super Mario Brothers movie does? And what do you think about these new features that Microsoft is announcing, though? Are you happy to see being able to play Game Pass titles through your Samsung TV? Do you like the idea of basically playing non-Game Pass games through cloud streaming, through Xbox Game cloud streaming, though? Will you prefer them to announce a new game or anything like that, or not? Or were happy with what Microsoft showed for this event or not? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.